When it comes to growing a lawn, one of the key things we need to figure out is when exactly to cut your lawn, what height to cut it to, and everything else in between. So today's video, we're gonna look at, are you cutting your lawn too late, too soon, and how to get the greenest lawn possible. Okay, so you guys already know this, but most of my lawn is clover, and I'm gonna have to do a separate video on the update a year later when it comes to caring for a clover lawn. And I have had grass up until literally I decided to change everything into a garden about a year ago. And the first thing we need to look at is actually what conditions we need to be in ambient wise and actual physical plant wise before we choose to mow. Now, number one is we need to ensure that the grass is dry and not wet. So I tried out a new mower that I received here not too long ago, and I tried it about 2 hours after it had rained, and they said do not use it all the way to an actual robot, and that is tearing of the grass. So rather than cutting, which is what we see when the grass is dry, we see a ripping when the grass is wet. Now, there's a number of different reasons why this isn't good. Disease to uneven ground, actual grass heights, that sort of thing. So number one is ensuring that your grass is dry, and that means about 24 hours, for sure a day of hot sun before actually getting on that lawn and clipping. The second reason why we actually want to wait until the lawn is dry comes down to the fact that wet lawn means wet soil, and wet soil means easy compaction. Now, I've done entire videos on this concept and why we should never walk on a wet lawn or wet soil in general, so you may want to check those out. I'll put it up here. But regardless, the key here is that you do not walk on the lawn, even to actually clip, until your soil, not just your grass, has been dried out. If you have a smaller thing like a robot, obviously that's going to be beneficial for getting things clipped up on time. However, if you have to stand physically on the lawn or you have to push machinery across the lawn, try to stay off of it until it dries. The next condition is ambient conditions. We want to avoid really hot, dry periods of time. Now, you can cut on a hot, dry day, such as right now when the sun's about to set, or early morning when things are beginning to warm up, but we want to avoid that midday heat. Okay, so the next one is the frequency in which you should mow. There's two different ways to look at this. Number one is the physical height of the blade of grass. Number two is just a set schedule, regardless of how long that grass may be. General rule is that you want it to get in between 4 to 6 inches tall before you mow, and when you mow, the ideal height in which it's cut down to is between 3 and 1.5 inches. So this is after the redroad is done. I have no other way to kind of show you this other than like my hand moving across. So this is when I cut it. It was at about 3-ish, 2-ish inches, and I cut it down to the 1.5 inch. You can see how nice and short it is, where the cutoff is, how clean it is. There's no like ripping or tearing. So this is exactly what we're looking for. Now, you're probably wondering, why does that matter? When I was researching for this video, I found a quote from someone who studies the world of lawns, specific to like golf green world. And he was translating it into use for your everyday gardener. And the biggest highlight, he said, hands down, more important than fertilizer, more important than irrigation, variety, is actually the frequency in which you cut your lawn. That's powerful, considering the fact that this man is caring for some of the top golf greens in the world. The number one reason, and probably the reason I think that you guys will be most interested in the concept of frequent mowing, actually comes down to tillering. If you do not mow, you cannot cause the grass to tiller. Tillering, is that a verb? I don't know. Maybe. Like I said, don't trust me. Tillering is the process in which a plant, when it's cut, sends out more roots.
That is an example of it, and that's what grass does. And because you guys are going to ask, I already know, how the heck little robot robotin, because I know you guys are going to ask, the robot is staying, who, by the way, Geek Crew, he needs a name. He needs a name because he's adorable. but regardless, that little ropey thing that I'm tugging on in this, that is a little shuck color fence. Yes, that's right. And Mr. Robot does not go outside the shuck fence, essentially. And you put the fence around like objects and walls and sidewalks, so it doesn't go over them. It's kind of cool. It's neat. You can map out the whole freaking yard with it.
And why that's important for grasses is because when a root is sent out, we get more leaves. So if you've ever noticed a Gulf green and how compact and how many blades of grass are in a small space, it's because there's a lot of tillering going on compared to that of a meadow, which tends to just have a few larger sprigs of grass, which obviously doesn't have as much tillering happening. Okay, so frequency can again be decided by either the height, so between 4 and 6 inches, mowed down to 1.5 to 3 inches. And fun fact, many different products out there will allow you to set this. So again, this robot mower that I've been trying out allows me to actually set the height via an app, which is incredibly convenient, I will tell you that much. Particularly for a brain like mine that is a numbers brain that really likes precise measurements. If I know I'm exactly cutting to like 1.5 inches, I'm very happy. I'm a very happy person. Okay, number 2. And this one is pretty shocking, but that is removing the bag off of your mower. I personally was not in agreement with this for a very long time until I made my lawn into a garden. And the reason why I got on board is because I suddenly saw a much greener, much healthier lawn. And the reason for that is because the only way to mow my space was with a whippersnapper last year. So there was a heck of a lot of debris landing obviously on that soil surface. So with the whippersnapper method that I used before, and now this mower, the robot mower, also doesn't do any sort of bag system. The clippings will land on the soil surface. Now, if you're doing this frequently enough, meaning the blades of grass you're cutting aren't mega long by any means, what we end up seeing is a faster rate of decomposition. Because remember, the more surface area we have, the faster decomposition takes place. So smaller blades of grass decompose much quicker. And in some cases, for example, heavy clay soils growing grass, if we're clipping regularly in smaller segments, we tend to see that fertilizer may not even be necessary at all. I'm going to break down the equivalent, like what the grass clippings in general kind of land at in regards to NP and K. So nitrogen is somewhere between 3 to 4% by volume. Phosphorus is 0.5% by volume, and potassium is 2.5 to 3.5% by volume. So if you were to think about this from the perspective of your grass being an ecosystem, what you remove is what you need to put in. So if you are removing and it immediately falls back down to decompose, you're really not removing anything from that ecosystem, so you never need to replenish it. But if you are bagging it up and removing it, then you will need to consider the idea of putting in new input. The only statement in there where I'm kind of iffy is the idea that if you do mow frequently, that you won't have any thatch. And that thatch is a myth if you're mowing at a frequency that is valuable. I agree with this if it is a lawn that has no other exposure to anything else, but unfortunately, lawns oftentimes have a lot of bits and bobs that fall on them. So for me, I've got leaves, I've got lilac bush, I have plants, because again, my lawn is now a garden. In the fall, break down, fall on the surface, and because of that, I do feel as though it shades out the grass. Use the statement that thatch is a myth and you don't have to dethatch if you mow frequently enough. Take that with a grain of salt, because obviously, if you have other inputs like leaves or weeds or garden debris, it is going to build up, and it's going to build up in larger size clumps that won't decompose as quickly and obviously may cause issues. So you're going to have to gauge that one just a little bit on your own. Okay, the other 3 reasons why cutting at a higher frequency is necessary is that when we cut at a higher frequency, disease and pests are drastically reduced because they don't have like any home to kind of hang out in. The less biological matter that you have for them to either feast on or to make a symbiotic parasitic relationship with, means, you know, you don't have as many issues. So that is obviously one reason why you would clip, and I'm sure all of you are like, duh, of course. The second one that you may not realize is lack of light. So the penetration of light obviously affects the density and the volume of leaves we tend to see. So really long grass, just like really long plants we see in the house, tend to not have leaves and greenery closer to the base. Same rule applies to grass. Things begin to shade each other out, particularly when we get things folding over top of each other. Lack of light, no photosynthesis, lack of grass. But I also know you guys are pretty intelligent here on the Geek Crew, so I'm not going to speak down to you with those three, because I think that those three you probably already know. Okay, so the last one is, how often should you sharpen the blades on your mower? So if we're talking about the redroad robotic mower, in this case, one thing you want to look at is just actually physically getting replacement parts, which is much easier than sharpening. If it's a mower, you want to obviously sharpen, and you want to do this around every 20 hours of use, or when things are looking a little rusty and crusty, you're gonna have to, you know, sharpen things up. So how do you go about making sure that your lawn is mowed at the right height, at the right time, at the right you know, patterns, you name it? Well, that honest to goodness comes down to either visually looking at things or getting some sort of an app or system that allows you to obviously do this with ease. Now, for me, I was using a whippersnipper for the last year because of the fact that I've changed everything into a garden, obviously. But now, because I do have this redroad kind of robot mower, and I'll put a link down below for what that is, they sent that to me, and I was a little bit intimidated at first, because you guys know I hate technology. It's not my thing. But I soon learned that it's very easy to use. The beauty of this is that it allows you to develop a pattern or no pattern, just kind of go rogue. You can also set the heights. You can set like a frequency. It has the ability to sense weather. So if you're at the lake and you want to make sure that things are cut despite you not being home, and you know that things are starting to, you know, get a little bit high, you can use the mower to trigger and obviously get going from the comfort of your cabin, as an example. So I want to thank Redroad for sending me that awesome robot mower. If you guys want a video just on robot mowers, let me know, because your girl has a shocking amount of experience with these, between the Redroad and the fact that the office across from my work sells them / constantly has these things mowing their lawn. So unfortunately, what that does mean is that if you go on any sort of a holiday, if you have a ton of rain, a lot of heat, and you know that you're having a lot of growth, you may need to mow more than just once a week. For those of you experiencing this crazy volume of rain, you're very obviously going to have to water more than once a week, unfortunately. If you want to learn how to water less frequently when it comes to hanging baskets or the actual cloth pots or anything that's in really intense sun, then you're probably going to want to check out this video right here. And Google, being creepy as it is suggesting you watch this video down here based on what you've been Googling or YouTubing. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. There are so many vehicles that drive by, I swear to God.